Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So following Moses Itauma's devastating first-round knockout victory over Dillian Whyte, the boxing world are now asking, is he ready for Olekander Usyk? Now the truth is, none of us actually know for certain. We all have opinions, we think one way or the other, but we don't know. Even his training team, who know a lot more than we do, because they've seen him in sparring with some of the best heavyweights in the world, they don't know for certain whether he's ready for Usyk. They have a better idea than we do, but they don't know for certain. But my take on it is this. Itauma's opportunity to break Mike Tyson's record and become the youngest heavyweight champion in history is gone. The deadline was back in May. I thought he should try and go for that, maybe for a vacant belt, but obviously a vacant belt didn't become available. Therefore, there's no need to rush anymore. Revert back to a standard time frame for building a young fighter. In other words, there's no need to rush, because at the end of the day, styles make fights. And what you want to do when you're building a fighter is put him in against multiple different styles. Have fighters who are going to take him rounds and prepare him for what he will inevitably face when he becomes a champion. You don't want to get him to championship level. Let's say he aces his world title challenge, becomes champion, but then he's unprepared for the various other styles he'll have to face in world title defenses. You want to prepare him for those scenarios before he gets there, so he can stay champion for a number of years. That's what you want to do. It's an art preparing a fighter for world level. Therefore, in my view, he should not be fighting Olekander Usyk next. Well, first of all, there are fighters above him in the pecking order who deserve their shot far more than he does. And Moses Itauma acknowledged this in a post-fight interview after the Dillian Whyte fight. In fact, some people have got the wrong end of the stick. They've misconstrued what Itauma said. They seem to think he was calling out Joseph Parker and Ajit Kabayel, when actually, if you listen properly to what he said, he was saying that they deserve their shot against Usyk before he does. He just said if he was offered the Usyk fight, he wouldn't turn it down. Now, we know that Usyk has said that he wants to see Moses Itauma in there against Olekander Usyk next, apparently. But that might just be building hype for a future fight. That might just be using Usyk's name to boost Itauma's name. Do you know what I mean? Having him spoken about in the same breath as Olekander Usyk. And regardless of what Usyk says or wants, Moses Itauma has got a team. Frank Warren is promoter. His manager is it George or Francis Warren? I think it's Francis Warren, one of the Frank Warren sons. His trainer Ben Davison, along with Lee Wiley. He's got a whole team around him. And collectively, they're going to have a say on who he fights next. But what I will mention is the fact that his trainer Ben Davison said, similar to Moses himself, if they were offered the Usyk fight, they probably wouldn't turn it down because it's almost a no-lose situation, according to Ben Davison. He obviously thinks Moses has got a pretty good chance against Usyk, or else he wouldn't even entertain that fight. But he inferred that even if Moses lost, the experience against Usyk would be invaluable. But again, to reiterate my position, I think there's no need to rush. There's no need to get to Usyk as quickly as possible. Because even if you went in there and beat Usyk, everybody's going to say, well, you beat a 37-year-old or a 38-year-old. Who knows how old Usyk would be by the time Itauma fought him, you know? Usyk's taken a long rest, it seems, at the moment. He turns 38 in January. So how much credit would Itauma really get for beating him right now anyway? And would he even beat him at all? Again, none of us know for certain. Usyk probably has faced something like Itauma in the past, but not since he was an amateur, fighting some of those old Eastern Bloc guys. And we're talking about like 17 years ago or something. That's the last time Usyk would have faced something like Moses Itauma in a competitive fight. Never mind sparring, I'm talking about in an actual contest. And Itauma has never faced anything like Olekander Usyk in terms of technique, ringcraft. Yeah, he sparred Tyson Fury, but we're talking about, again, pro fight. And Usyk is on a different level to Fury in terms of his conditioning, in terms of his defense, even his chin, his footwork, so on and so forth. If that fight got made, let's say for January, and I'm not saying it will get made in January, big fights don't normally happen in January, but if, hypothetically, they made that fight for January, I'd pick Usyk to win. And I would base that upon the fact that we haven't seen Itauma extended in a fight, as in 10, 12 rounds. He's been the distance, but only in short fights, 4 and 6 rounders, I think. He's got great speed, hand speed and foot speed. He's defensively responsible. He has this mechanism whereby he jumps in real quick, lets shots off, and then he reflexively jumps back out to avoid any counters. When the counter comes and misses, he then jumps back in again and counters the counter. That is going to present Usyk problems in the early going, best believe. But if Usyk can avoid getting blown out, and he's never been blown out before, he's never been stopped. He's got a great defense, great chin, great footwork, feints. He's a southpaw as well. He's not as quick as Itauma, let's be real. Not as explosive. Doesn't hit as hard. But he's got better craft. And if he can navigate those early rounds without getting hit with anything too damaging. And take Itauma into the second half of the fight. How does Itauma hold up? What happens when his feet start slowing down and he can't jump out of the pocket as quick or at all in rounds 7, 8, 9? Does he have the head movement then to avoid the counters? Because we haven't seen that much head movement from Moses Itauma. There will be points in his career where the feet, which he currently uses for defense, are going to be out of action, or they're going to be moving a lot more slowly because of fatigue. At that stage, he's going to need a tight guard and he's going to need upper body movement. He's going to need those skills. Does he have them? I don't know. So I have to bet on what I do know. Olekander Usyk has those skills. He has the experience. And Olekander Usyk knows how good Itauma is. So he'd be well prepared. Like I say, if the fight were to get made in the early part of next year, I'd be picking Usyk to win. When it comes to building a prospect, I tend to err on the side of caution. Why rush if you don't have to? The only reason for it previously was to try and break Mike Tyson's record, but I said you should do that for a vacant belt. You shouldn't try break Mike Tyson's record against Usyk. Try do it against a lesser opponent for a vacant belt. Then you've made history. Since that's gone, what's the need to rush? I don't get it. From the perspective of the money men in boxing, I can see why they would want to rush him to Usyk, but that's short-term thinking. If you build him up a bit more, get him more experience, again, from a money perspective, you'll get more money out of him over the long haul rather than stepping him up to world level before he's quite ready. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Itauma is ready for Olekander Usyk next? Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.